In this section, we will explore some advanced topics for working with Hyperledger Fabric and Composer. We will discuss Composer REST Server authentication, expanding our network with extra peers, implementing a basic version of the Kafka consensus system, the Fabric Certificate Authority and how it deals with identities, and how to deploy our network to Kubernetes. In this video, we will look at two ways in which we can secure the Composer REST server. First, we will examine securing the REST server by using an API key. Secondly, we will use OAuth to authorize our GitHub account to connect to the REST server. The first authentication method we will discuss involves adding an API key to protect the REST server. This simple protection ignores the complexities of multi-identity specification. This can be useful for developing basic proofs of concept or applications where managing multiple identities is not critical. Incidentally, this functionality was developed by my colleague Nicola Paoli at 8tech. Remember, you too can participate in the Hyperledger community and provide improvements. Let us see how the API key functionality works. We start with our land registration business network running on the Fabric blockchain. We launch the Composer REST server as we usually do and specify our land reg admin card. When asked about using an API key, we say yes and provide a complex API key as an argument and accept the default values for the remaining arguments. Having started the REST server, we navigate to port 3000 of our virtual machine. Let us try to retrieve the list of individuals. You will see that this returns the unauthorized response and an error code of 401. Let us try the same thing from the terminal, using the curl command, and attempt to provide an X API key header that is incorrect. As you can see, we get the same unauthorized result. Let us now try with the correct API key. This succeeds and shows us the list of individuals. Next, let us look at how we can use a different authentication system, OAuth. This can allow more complex scenarios where we allow multiple different users to authenticate with an existing web service account. In this case, we will take the simple example of GitHub, although we could enable Facebook or Google accounts to connect as well. The first thing we must do is install the relevant passport strategy for GitHub by using npm. Then we will create an environmental variable to hold the relevant information about our Composer providers for authentication by adding them to the zesh-env. This is a JSON structure where we will need to replace in our app's client ID and secret. But first, we need to obtain this. To do so, we can go to our GitHub account, to our settings, and developer settings. Here, we can register a new application. We will call it Composer. We specify our virtual machine's address and port 3000 for the REST server. For the authorization callback URL, we specify the same address and add /auth/github/callback. Having created the application, we can get the client ID and secret and copy them over to our JSON structure. We reload the .zesh-env file and launch the REST server again. This time, instead of an API key, we specify we want to use Passport for authentication. Again, let's go to our REST server page and try to retrieve an individual. We will see an authorization required error. Let us go to the auth GitHub page and authorize our GitHub account to access the page. This generates an access token that we can look at if we want. More importantly, this access token enables us to do operations on the REST server. In summary, in this video, we implemented API key authentication and some basic OAuth authentication via GitHub.